Today, the left-wing pushers of hate are backtracking after declaring white men are the greatest domestic terror threat to the United States. That after learning law enforcement declared a Muslim man wanting to return to Syria is responsible for killing 10 people inside that Boulder grocery store. So instead of focusing on what, if any, connection his Muslim faith is to the shooting, they are turning their focus back to an all-out war on the Second Amendment. I'm about to show you how uninformed and even devious the media really is when it comes to this issue.
Since the Columbine massacre in 1999, there have been at least 114 mass shootings, 1,300 victims.
Well, you got to wonder where they get their facts here. That's from NBC. Thanks to our friends over at Newsbusters, they found on November 8th, NBC in 2018 declared that 307 mass shootings with 328 killed in just the first 10 months of that year. So which is it, NBC? The fact is they don't even know because they make this stuff up as they go. In this report that you just saw there, Tom Costello proceeded to tick off every name of every mass shooting NBC cared about. But it ignored the real mass murder that happens every day in America. The drive-bys and gang hits, the executions, and even the shootouts. In Chicago on Monday, the same day as the Boulder shooting, 15 people were shot, 3 killed. It is ignored by the mainstream media. In Los Angeles, in just the first 2 months of the year, 267 people are shot in that city, 64 killed. That's up 40% from last year. And yet, there are no flags flying at half-staff for these victims. Mostly minorities, too, by the way, all in cities that have virtually outlawed firearms. Yet the media loves to sensationalize the high-profile shootings. But what makes them high-profile? Well, it only takes one commonality. They happen outside of the hood. For a media machine that pretends to care so much about black lives, why do they ignore the epidemic of black-on-black crime? Instead, they only feign outrage when the violence comes to a school, a movie theater, a grocery store, and of course, they blame Republicans for it all, and of course, our support of the Second Amendment.
They don't have the courage to stand up for our lives, but they want to take away your vote.
Well, that, of course, is CNN's Don Lemon, exploiting the Boulder shooting to play politics about not just decimating the Second Amendment, but eliminating voter integrity as we know it, too. He pretends to be so concerned about those mass shootings, but never acknowledges it's not Republicans in control of Chicago or LA, Detroit or Baltimore. It's liberals in control of those cities.
In the meantime, tens of thousands of people die every year in this country in gun violence. There's a reason for that. There are reasons for that.
Well, he is right about that, but it's not the reasons he wants. It's not because of AR-15s. It's not because of white supremacy. The reasons for that are because of weak on-crime policies in liberal cities, defunding the police in liberal cities, a failure to prosecute gun crimes when people are caught with illegally obtained guns. Plus, the demasculinization of society is why we no longer raise boys to become protectors, to become men. See, my definition of a man is someone who makes everyone around him just a little bit safer. I promise, when you're with me, especially when I'm carrying, the people around me are far safer because of it. But that kind of mentality is criticized as being chauvinistic, when in reality, it's just responsible, unlike the mainstream media when it comes to their gun hating.
The text of the Second Amendment includes the words well-regulated, and it talks about militias. It is irrelevant to gun reform.
See, the left loves to bring up the militia line. That's MSNBC's Joy Reid. She makes an absolute fool out of herself. That's a commonality, too, among liberals that don't know anything about firearms or the law. You see, the Supreme Court already ruled in D.C. versus Heller that the Second Amendment solidifies an individual's right to keep and bear arms regardless of military service. But she doesn't know that because she doesn't study the issue. Here is the proof.
In some parts of the country, it's easier to buy a gun than it is to vote.
That is not the case at all. That, folks, is straight up propaganda. But when it comes to disarming all of you, they will use any tactic at their disposal, especially lies.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.